Okay, video number 2, basic math. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about factors, and then we'll talk a little bit about fractions. Before we talked about exponents in the last video. Exponents are making numbers bigger, unless they're negative, then they're more negative. In general, they make numbers bigger. Factors, we're taking a bigger number and we're looking at the smaller parts of it. It would be like taking a PC and taking it apart for the parts. And that would be that version of factoring. Okay. They love this on tests. You know, the number one doesn't count as a prime or composite number. Let's define these things. All right, 1 is in its own category. Prime number, you can only divide it by itself in 1. So for prime numbers, we have 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, etc., up to infinity. Those are prime numbers, so you can only divide by itself in 1, and that's about it. So what we're going to do when we do factoring for a larger number we'll break everything down in this thing called the number tree, which we'll get to in a minute, and we'll show the prime factors at the bottom of the tree. Okay, composite numbers, also some people call them combination numbers, compound numbers, they're all the same thing with different names. All that means is that's a number that you can divide by itself in 1 and other numbers. Okay, so this 2 is, is officially prime, divided by 2 and 1. All the other even numbers are automatically composite numbers. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, etc. Those are automatically composite because they're even. Okay, so we could plug along here. The next number that's not even in this sequencing would be 9. 9 all a number tree does, or tree diagram you can call it, it's math, so they call different things different years. Some things have 4 names for the same thing. So the number tree is going to show the biggest number, and then it's going to be broken down when we get to the bottom of it into prime numbers. Okay, so number 9 is still small. It's 1-digit number. So 9 is made up, can you divide it by 2? No. Divided by 3? Yeah. All right, so we'll do that. 9 divided by 3, 3 and a 9 goes 3 times. Okay, so the number tree for 9 would just be 3 and 3. So 9, we can divide it by 1. We can divide it by 9, like a prime number. Plus, we can also divide it by other numbers. We can divide it by 3. So this officially is a composite number. 15 is the next odd number that's also composite. Because you have 1, you have 15, you have 3, and you have 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So those are also composite numbers. Let's take a little bit bigger number. Say, wow, Professor Jim, this is just too easy. Okay, that's fine. Let's take 440. 9's kind of small. All right, how do you break this out? Well, 440 is an even number. You can divide it by 2 if you want. It's a good way to start. Let's just do that. So if you want to do it regular division, like 2 goes into 4 twice. Next digit goes down there. It goes in twice. 0, 220. All right, 220, even number, divided by 2. That goes in there, 110. All right, even number. Divided by 2 again. 55, obviously not an even number. Okay, 55 ends in 5. Any number that ends in 5, you can divide by 5. So we have 5 and 11. Okay. Quiet audience tonight. Okay. Anyway, so our prime numbers for 440 2 times 2 times 2, and the prime numbers you multiplied it, you know, when you're done multiplying them, they all wind up equaling the bigger number. 5 times 11, that's our 440. Okay, if you want to show it as an exponent, like we were talking about before in video number 1, there's 3 2's, so 2 is the main number. There's 3 of them. There's 1 5, there's 1 11. Okay, easy enough, right? So that covers factors. We have different types of fractions. We have regular fractions, which I didn't even put here. It's supposed to be a circle. Okay. Okay, let's say that's a pizza. All right, so you could say, all right, fine, how many pieces, how many slices are there in total? We say, well, if you count them, ignore the artwork, it's not exactly Rembrandt here, there's 8 slices to the pizza, so the total number goes on the bottom. It's called the denominator. How many slices you eat? Let's say I'm eating pizza. So let's say I eat three slices of pizza. So that'll be the top number, which is called the numerator. It's a regular fraction. Top number is smaller than the bottom number. Okay, mixed numbers. We have a whole number or an integer, and we have a fraction. So it'll be like 2.5. That would be an example of a mixed number. Okay, improper fraction, or they renamed it fractional notation not that long ago, but a lot of us still call it improper fractions. That's where the top number is bigger than the bottom number. Make it 11 eighths. So that's improper. We can switch back and forth between mixed numbers, show them as improper, improper, show them as mixed. Okay, why don't we do that? I'll move 11 eighths over here. Okay, to do that we go clockwise. We take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, add the top. 2 times 2 will be 4, and 1 will be 5. So this will equal the same as 5 over 2. All right, that's so far so good. That's easy, right? Okay, let's say we have an improper number, improper fraction. We had 11 eighths before. Okay, well, what can we do? Well, then when we have a numerator divided by a denominator, we can do division. That's all a fraction really is. So we'll take the bottom number into the top. Okay, so far so good, right? Okay, 8 goes in 11 once. Does it work exactly? Not exactly. Close. So we have 3 left over. Now in some tests they'll ask you what the remainder is. You can put R3. And a lot of times, since we're going for mixed numbers, instead of doing R3 for remainder, we have a 1. This becomes the numerator. And what we're dividing by becomes the denominator. Okay, so we have 3 left over. So we can go back and forth on these things. Also, just since we worked on factors, I just wanted to also show the greatest common factor. Okay, we didn't get to algebra yet, so I'm not going to talk about variables. We're just talking about numbers. Not just, we're talking about numbers. So the greatest common factor, GCF, sometimes they call it greatest common denominator, as mentioned before, it's math, so it could have all sorts of names, it's the same thing. It's the biggest number in common between two or more numbers. So how do you find that? Well, actually, using the number tree, it's really easy. What a relief! Math is really easy. At least some of it is. Okay, we'll take 12 and 18, break it down into a number tree. All right, even numbers, right? Okay, 12 we divide by 2, we get 6. 6 we divide by 2, we get 3. Okay, I'll move 18 up a little bit. 18 is also even with divided by 2. We get a 9, which we know are 2 3s. Okay, so we have two number trees. All we're going to do is see what they share. Okay. We all remember sharing, right? We learned it a long time ago in school. Okay. So between 12 and 18, they both have a 2. So I'm just going to circle what they share. And they both have a 3 in the number tree. We'll circle the 3. Okay. The other 2 is hanging out by itself. The other 3 is hanging out by itself. So what they share is 2 and 3. Multiply them, and the greatest common factor winds up being 6. So greatest common factor, 12 and 18, 6. You might have numbers that don't have a greatest common factor. You have two prime numbers. You have 17 and 29 or something like that. You can always say that they have 1 for the greatest common factor. Okay, and that wraps up video number 2. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe below. Hi everybody, just wanted to give a few shout outs. I wanted to thank our sponsor, Luigi's Pizza, which is in Susquehanna, New Jersey on Route 10. Go see Paul, tell him I said hi. And now they have the traditional menu back, like the retro menu. And you can go see them. I also wanted to give a shout out to Santana's Hair Salon, which is also in Susquehanna at Roxbury Mall. And a quick shout out to Knight's Automotive, which is in Ledgewood section of Roxbury on Main Street for all your car and truck needs. Thanks.